How to get more money this year. My men, this really is only going to apply to the folks that are going to be serious about this situation, that you are going to try to change things in your life this year. Now, we talked about the credit score issue. That is extremely important for you to work on, because you know if you change your credit score, that's going to change what rates you're going to get. You can go back to your insurance companies and you can have them reassess your policy based off of the fact that your score wasn't all that great before. Now it's a little bit better. What that does is it puts more savings in your policy. You start to have a little bit more money. You're not spending as much on the insurance. Boom, that's one aspect right there. You can also go out there and apply for, or if you have loans, with whoever you have loans for, unsecured loans, secured loans, go to them, ask them whether or not can they reassess your loans to see if you can adjust the interest rates. Now, the interest rates aren't that great right now, but I don't know what interest rate you have that you had currently. Your interest rate could be, much higher than what the interest rates are right now. So you go to them, ask them to reassess it. Again, this is when you work on getting your credit together and you get your score together, you can have them reassess your loans, refinance them, see if you can get a better rate. Very important. That's the reason why I told you about working on your credit scores. It affects all the different things out there. It even affects utilities. I believe it a lot of times if you try to go for a utility, electrical, heating or whatever, they look at your credit score. And what happens is that they'll tell you based off of your credit that maybe you've got to put some extra down payment, something down to, solidify you having that particular utility. So one of the things that you can do is make sure that you work on your credit score. You may want to ask everybody. Once you get your credit score together, you ask everybody, even phone carriers. I think they have you put down a deposit or something like that if your credit is not a certain way or they charge you a certain. Everybody, when you start working on your credit score, you go to everybody and you ask them to reassess what it is that you have and see whether or not you can make that change, because a lot of times you can make changes and you can get lower premiums, lower rates than what you're getting right now. That's going to put the money back in your pocket. Now, for my men who are working, I want you to go to whether human resources, your manager, district manager, whoever makes decisions over your role as working at where you're working at. I need you to go there and be proactive. And you ask these folks, hey, listen, I would like to know what opportunities are available for me to possibly be able to either take on more hours or make a little bit more money. What is it that I need to do? I'm willing to take on whatever the task is to make some extra money. You got to ask the question. Now, they may come back and they may say, oh, well, there's nothing that we have to do. Okay, that's fine. But you may be surprised, because the thing is that they don't hear folks coming to them at work asking them, hey, what can I do to try to better my situation? You don't hear that. Folks just go through the motions, they work there, and they're collecting the check, and they're ready to go home, and that's that. But if you're serious, and you're saying you want to be able to make more money this year, you've got to go, and you've got to talk to these folks. You have to be proactive. One thing that helped me out with being from New York is the fact that I have that aggressive nature. I'm very assertive. So I'm going to come and I'm going to ask certain things because I know that other people aren't going to do it. It happens all the time. You can go out and there's discounts and things that, because you didn't open up your mouth and you didn't prod more to ask the questions with folks and question whatever they're saying, that you may be missing out on those discounts. If you're a person who's assertive and aggressive, and I'm not talking about in an arrogant way, I'm talking about in a way where you are inquiring to make sure that they exhaust everything possible that they have to offer you. A lot of times they are not going to respond to anybody who's not really going to question anything, because they're already in their job and they're already, tired, or they don't want to be asked too many questions, or they don't feel like trying to, make any initiative as far as to, tell you what other things that they can offer. But if you prod them, you question them, a lot of times you'll find out that there's other opportunities that you had no idea about. So do that at your current job. Now, if you don't work, and you're having a tough time trying to find a job, and you're putting in your resume, nobody's calling you and all this other stuff, I'm going to tell you this. You got to go to your centers of influence. Your centers of influence are folks that are your family and your friends. And you got to go to them. And this is where you got to swallow your pride. And you got to ask them, hey, listen, is there any jobs that you have that's tasked around your house that you need to get done that you haven't gotten done? A lot of times folks do have those things. They got issues with their yard. They got maybe a garage that's filled with a whole bunch of stuff. They may need some cleaning in the house. They may need somebody to drive them around somewhere. If you don't have a car, then, there's something else that person may need you to do. Maybe go to a store, walk somewhere for them or something like that, walk a dog or whatever. Somebody has something that they may want to do or may need to get done, and they want to pay somebody. And of course, you go out here and you try to get a service to do it. Service is going to rip your head off. But if you come in and you talk to the person and you offer your service and you try to give them a decent deal, boom, you can get the extra little money that you need to get. You can't swallow your pride. Not in this day and time. Not in this time and day. You can't do it. So many people are talking about, I can't get a job. I can't. Hey, if you need to change your circumstances, then you got to go out there and make this thing happen. You have to go out there and pull this money from folks that have it. So that's what you do. And you never know. If you come up against this family or friend and you start telling them that, hey, this is what I can do, and you do it, you think that these family and friends don't have other people that they talk to who may say that they have things that they need done? Painting the house, doing some little handyman stuff, picking out the garbage, or, cleaning up, some type of wall or something. There's a whole bunch of different things that folks don't have the ability to do because they don't have the time. Either they're at work and they don't have the time to do it, or physically they can't do it. And maybe you can. So you got to make stuff happen for you. This is the only way. If you want to get that, if you're serious about it, you swallow your pride, you call these folks, and you still never know whether or not there's an opportunity between one of these family or friends who say, hey, you know what? I heard of a job that was looking for somebody, or I know of my family member who works somewhere and they were looking for some people, and then boom, you get connected. You get connected to an opportunity that you had no clue. You had no idea. They weren't posting it. They weren't talking about it. Maybe they were doing it in-house and they were just asking if anybody knew of somebody, and you started asking about it. You got to stir up the pot. You got to stir up the pot. You got to go out there and you got to make these things happen for yourself if you want extra money in your pocket. Another thing, we all get things that we want. We all get things that we want. Well, if you're serious about getting your money, then you have to reassess what things you're going out there and you're going to get. Whether you're going out and you're buying, some type of fast foods, doing the DoorDash stuff and all this other stuff. You're going out and you're buying, clothes, or you're going out, to different events. You got to reassess what it is that you're doing. It's that simple. You can't sit up here and say that, hey, I want more money, but you're spending money on stuff that you say that you want to do. I understand that we all want to do stuff. But again, if you're serious and you're saying that, hey, I want to change my circumstance, then you got to look at the stuff that you're doing that you say you want to do. It's okay to treat yourself. But a lot of times we go overboard with a lot of stuff that we buy. We get the things we want to do. We do the things we want to do. But we don't ever question whether or not it's right for us to do and how it impacts our situation, because we're just trying to get that dopamine and feel better. Nah, it's a different time that we're living in right now. So you got to reassess what things you're actually going out there and you're doing. Another thing, You start calling everybody, your phone carrier, your utilities carrier. You call, your communication place as far as your internet service and all this stuff. You call everybody that you have some type of billing with, everybody that you have, and you ask them, hey, I'd like to know, is there something that I can do to adjust my bill? Something I can do to lower my bill? Everybody. You ask these folks. Again, the question may be no, but then the question may be yes. And then all that time you're sitting here like, man, I could have called them a long time ago. Yeah, you could have. Shoot, especially with phone carriers. Phone carriers talk all this nonsense. And the minute that you start telling them, hey, you know what, I'm looking to go somewhere else. Oh, you know what? We do have this loyalty discount. Oh, all of a sudden now you got a loyalty discount. You know what I mean? So that's what you got to do. This is just a little few things that you can look to try to see if you can try to change your situation of what you're going through in this climate, this day and age. I hear it. I see it a lot on the internet. But sometimes you've got to make moves and you got to be proactive in your approach. You can't just sit there and think things are going to happen for you. Doesn't happen all the time. Now, if you keep hitting your head up against the wall, then maybe you just got to sit back and you just got to relax and let things come to you. But if you haven't even tried that, then you don't know what opportunities that you're missing. You know what I mean? I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to catch you on the next note. Peace out.